in this automation tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can build a Supabase RAG automation in n8n step by step. Okay, so let me show you exactly what this automation can do, right? So we're going to flick over to this side. So this is essentially the side of the automation that allows us to chat with your documents. And this side over here uploads the actual documents to the database so we can have a chat with them. So it vectorizes your documents so you can grab information from different documents. So I've got this document over here. As you can see, it has a product code. It has the price of the product and then also the document name, which is test file 1. And this is all stored within our database. So now, if I go over and flick back to this automation over here, actually no, let me go to this test file. Let me copy this link, right? And we're going to remember that the net price is 103. And this is the product code, which I'm going to copy. And then we're going to go over here and tell me the net price of product code. And then if I just paste in the product code, as you can see here, it's going to go through and search the database. And you can see the price for this product code, which is entered, is 103. And this is within the relevant documentation. And as you can see here, 103, and this is the product code. So essentially, imagine a company has a bunch of different documents like this one with a bunch of product codes, a bunch of prices, and a bunch of different types of documents. Essentially, you can store these all into our vector database, which I'm going to show you how to do, and then you can actually have a chat with this structured data. So for reference, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can chat with structured data. Structured data meaning, stuff like product codes, net price, document names, normally stored in like an Excel, Google Sheets kind of file. Now, if you want something stored in like a document, like a massive PDF document, and you want to chat with that document instead, then I'm going to upload a video directly after this one, and it will be using this automation over here, which is the Pinecone vector database. This one's a different sort of RAG automation similar to the one I just showed you, except it's going to show you how you can upload PDF documents. Pinecone is much better at using unstructured documents such as PDFs, and I find Supabase, which is also a RAG data, well, it's just a database but it allows RAG, is much better at using structured data like CSVs, Excel files, and any other kind of structured data. Okay, so the very first thing you're actually going to need to do is create an account using Supabase. Supabase is essentially a database where you can store pretty much anything you want in tables. And it allows vector storage as well, which is what we're specifically going to be using in this tutorial. So it's a really cool tool, and all you need to do is click Start Your Project over here, and then it'll ask you to sign up. You can just click Sign Up, and I'm just going to enter in an email. Let's go with yash@plutoai.io. And I'm just going to go create a password. You need to make sure you note down this password because you're going to use it later on. So I'm just going to type in my password. All right, I've entered in my password. I'm just going to click sign up. And then I've signed up successfully, and then you need to check your email to confirm. So I'm going to whiz over to my Gmail. Okay, so I've got to the email. I'm just going to click confirm email address. And this should take me to another page, which is actually our Supabase dashboard. I think it's currently initializing a bunch of things in the background. Awesome. So we've got create a new organization. I'm just going to leave it as Yash's test. And let's get rid of that. Personal type of organization, I'm just going to keep it as personal. And then we're going to use the free plan for this example. So let's go and create an organization. Oh, and one thing I forgot to note, you also need to create a database password. So again, create a password and make sure you remember it. And then you need to click create new project. And then this will go and create a new project. This does take a minute. As you can see, project status is still circling around, which means it's going to take a little bit of time to actually create our project over here. Okay, so as you can see, our project status is now green. Supabase has gone and set everything up for us. The next thing we need to go and do is actually connect up a bunch of the tools we're using in n8n to Supabase. So if I flick back to our automation over here and I go to the chat with your document section, you can see we have this different type of memory. So in n8n, and if you're familiar with building out agents, normally you can use n8n's inbuilt memory. Let me see if I can get it up. So if I go here and then I go to, you can use simple memory. It just stores in n8n, so you don't need any requirement. But Postgres is a bit more of a complex and more robust memory. So that's what we're going to use to connect this up, right? So if I reconnect this back up, awesome. So I'm going to click into Postgres over here, and I've already got an account because I've set this automation up before, but I'm just going to click create new credential, right? And you can see there are a bunch of details we need to add in to set this up, but it's not as complicated as it looks, I promise. And I'm going to show you how you can do it step by step. So let's flick back to Supabase over here, and there's a connect button right over here. If you just click on that, and then the type, you want to change this to PSQL. And you see this transaction pooler section right over here. You see the PSQL-H and then AWS 0EU Central Pooler Supabase.com. If you're based in the States or somewhere else, Supabase might choose to put you on a different Amazon Web Services server. I'm based in London, so therefore EU Central will probably be the closest one to me. So what you need to do is copy this up to supabase.com, literally just this. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back to Supabase, and I'm going to paste this in as host. So that's one thing down. We've got a few more things to add into this section here. Okay, so now that we've done the H, which is our host, we now need to move to our D. So our D over here is used for database, and as you can see, it's already set up as Postgres over here, and we should to make sure that matches, right? So -D, and then this is Postgres. Awesome. And then we have -U, and -U stands for user. And as you can see here, the user is Postgres dot and then this random gibberish essentially. You just need to copy this over again and go over to our user section and just paste this, and that's the user section done as well. Okay, so now that we've added the host, we've added the database, user, and the last thing is the password. This is the password I told you to keep safe when you created your organization. I've got mine saved over here, so that's being pasted into there. And another thing we need to grab from Supabase is this /p. So if you're keen-eyed, you notice we skipped over this -p. This is the port, right? So if we just copy these 4 numbers across and we go back to our n8n automation, you can see port right here. We're just going to paste that in, and then we're going to click save. And then this should go and create a new connection, and you should see connection tested successfully. Okay, so now that our Postgres chat memory is all done and sorted, we can double click into it and we can see exactly how it's set up. So we can see the key from the previous node is the session ID. The table that's being stored is the n8n chat histories table, which it's going to go and create for us, which is amazing. And everything else is pretty much done with this module. You don't need to configure anything else after you hook it up. Now that we've got Postgres chat memory set up, I also realized I need to show you how to set up this AI agent. So let's go over here, and the trigger is essentially when chat message is received. So if we just type in chat over here, chat trigger is what you need. And essentially this over here will lead to this module popping up. And then the second thing you're going to need is an AI agent. And if you click on this, essentially it will create a new AI agent for you. It should be somewhere here on this page. I don't know where it created it. But anyways, it should pop up with an AI agent like this. And then you connect up a chat model. The chat model I have connected up is just GPT-4o Mini using my OpenAI account. At this point, you should have an OpenAI API account. If you don't have this, watch any of my previous videos. I have a bunch of videos on how to do this. But essentially, you go and get your API key and then connect up to n8n. And once you've done that, you go to memory and then you set up Postgres, which we've just done. And now you're all caught up. Cool. So the second thing we need to do is answer questions with a vector store. So if you just add a tool and then go to answer vector store question answer tool and click on that. And this requires no setting up. So this is a description of data. So over here, you need to put the description of data as this has a part number or product number, depending on what you say. I'm just going to say product number, price, and document name for numerous products that we sell. I will search for a part number. Let's put it as product number, and you will need to give me all the documents relating to that product number, essentially. So we're going to type in a product number exactly like I showed you in the demo, and essentially that's the point of what this vector store has. And so the AI agent knows it needs to look into this vector store because it has this description to go and find all the part numbers, so all the product numbers, and then also the net price of them as well when we type them into the chat over here. I've also got a prompt for this AI agent. So this AI agent is prompted like this. You will use the vector database to choose relevant information and respond to the user's query. You will need to look through all the places that code is stored and return this to the user. You should get 3 main pieces of data every time you find the code: the price, the code, and the document name. You should always respond, the price for add code is add price, and this is within the name, right? Make sure the price is 100% correct and there is no hallucination. So that's the prompt. It's a pretty basic prompt to, get this agent to start working and giving us exactly what we need. And after we've got all of this set up, we've got the system prompt, Postgres chat memory, we've got OpenAI set up, and we've got this answer questions with a vector store set up. The next thing you need to do is you'll see this little vector store section over here, and you need to click plus, and you need to go and add in a Supabase vector store. So I've already got one set up, so I'm not going to click that, but essentially then this should pop up. And also you should have a model over here, and you need to connect up a embeddings. No, this is just a normal model. So again, this one's set up using ChatGPT 4.0 Mini using my OpenAI account, which we set up using the API. But just to show you exactly how you do this, you click on model, and then I just type in OpenAI chat model. You click on this, and then it will prompt you to set this up, and then you can change to whatever model you like. I use GPT 4.0 Mini because it's super cheap to use and it's pretty intelligent, so it works for this use case. And it's the most cost effective for this specific use case. Awesome. So now that all of that's set up, we have the Supabase vector store that we also need to set up. And this one's a little bit more complicated, right? So let's go create a new credential. And as you can see, there's two things we need to fill in. Number one is the host, and number two is the service role secret. And this is more tricky because the host is not the same as what we did in Postgres. So I'm going to hop back into Supabase and I'm going to show you exactly where you can find all the details to start to get your Supabase vector store to start working. How you get the host and the secret key is essentially you come to Supabase and you go to project settings. And under project settings, there's a data API under configuration. So we need to click on data API, and this is where we have all the details we need. So the first one is the URL, and if you just go and copy this and then paste this into our host, then that's done. And then we got the service role secret, and the service role secret is this one over here. So I'm just going to click reveal. I'm not going to show you this, and then I'm going to click copy and then paste this in. Okay, so now that we've filled in the host and the service role secret to set up this module, the service role secret is some absolutely behemoth of a secret key, but anyways, so we click save over here, and this will get test and then connection tested successfully. Really cool. I'm going to quickly change this account to YT test account. That should be great, so I can understand which Supabase account is linked to which Supabase thing in n8n. So that's cool, and then we click save. Awesome. Okay, so the next step is to set up this embeddings OpenAI. And this is essentially to vectorize our data into Supabase's table, essentially. So under embedding, if I just delete this, you should see there's a plus icon. Just click on this and then use embeddings OpenAI. And this should create a new embeddings account. Just use text embeddings 3 small. Again, it's pretty much all we need to, embed this kind of data. You can use large as well, but it's just a bit more expensive. And the small one does the job for our use case over here. So then if we go and this should be all set up again, you need to connect up your OpenAI API key to do this. And then everything should be done, right? We've got text embeddings OpenAI set up. So I'm going to delete this one over here. And this is this side of this automation in n8n setup, but there's still some stuff we need to do on the Supabase side, such as create the actual table to store our data in. And where we're going to be inputting our data is using this second part of the automation over here. How you set up the table within Supabase is you double click upon your Supabase vector store that we just set up. And you should see this icon over here for docs. n8n has amazing docs for all their different type of applications that they have. Super useful if you ever get stuck. For this one, we're going to use this to get some code out. So essentially we go to docs, and this should open up something called Supabase vector store node. And what you need to do from here is go to quick start for setting up your vector store. There should be a backlink kind of link over here. You click on that, and then you have all this code, right? You make sure it's on SQL, which is SQL, and it has all this different type of code over here. You just need to go to the top right and click copy. And then we need to go back to our Supabase page and click on here to SQL editor. And if we click on the SQL editor over here, and then we just paste in all that code we had, and then we click run. This should lead you to success, no rows returned, right? And what this has done is it's gone and created a table for us in Supabase that we can use to vectorize our data. So if we go to table editor over here, you should see there's a new table called document. Now, documents has all these different things, ID, content, metadata, and the embedding vector. So this is great because now this is where we're going to upload our structured data to allow essentially our chat function to go and find the data and essentially take it out for us. Okay, so now that the documents table is actually gone and created, we need to make sure our n8n automation reflects this and it grabs the data from the documents table. So here's our chat page, which you should have built out already. And then we have the Supabase vector store module over here. If we double click on this, make sure table name is set to documents to ensure that it grabs all the details from that table and not any other tables you might have in your Supabase vector store. Then that should be all set up and this side is all done. Okay, so the next step is to actually go and populate this table with vectors, metadata, our actual content that we want to, store in this so that we can go and have this chat function start to work and give us the prices for different essential numbers like this, right? And that's when we flick to this left side automation over here, which is upload tables to your vector store database. Okay, so to actually start building out this automation that allows you to upload the tables to your vector database, you need to start off with this Google Drive node, right? And this Google Drive is essentially set up like this. So it's a files tab, and then essentially it has two different Excel files and a CSV file, and also I've got a files to add folder in here, and this one has an Excel file in it as well. So to get this module over here, you just go over here and type in Google Drive, and then you click on the Google Drive node, and then you go for a watch new. It's under triggers over here, and then we put on a on changes involving a specific folder. So if you go and click on this, it will essentially go and create this Google Drive trigger over here, similar to this one. And how we've gone and set this up is essentially we've connected up to our Google Drive account. This is super simple in n8n. And then we put the poll time as every minute. And then we've got the trigger as changes involving a specific folder. And the folder we've got is files to add, right? And this is exactly correlating to this one over here. And you can search for your files really easily. I'm not going to do that right now because I have a few personal files on my Google Drive as well. But essentially it's files to add. And then watch for any new file that's created within this folder. So every single time a new file is added into this folder, the automation will trigger and then it'll add that file into our vector database. So that is how this module over here is set up. And the next one is we have a set file ID. And if I just go and execute the previous node, as you can see here, we want to store two main things in this set file ID. The first one is we want to set the file ID, and you can get this from the left side over here. Here's the file ID. And then also you need to get the MIME type. And I'm going to explain a bit more about MIME types, but where you can find it is all the way at the top, and then you've got MIME type over here, and you can just drag this right over to this folder, this section over here. And also this set file ID, how you can get this is you can type in edit field set, and then once you have this, you click on input fields and you just follow exactly what I did step by step in this module over here. Okay, so now that we've gone and set the file ID, the next thing is we need to actually go and download that file so then we can go and upload it to our vector store. So we go over here to Google Drive, and then this is download a file. And of course, the ID is exactly what we stored previously. So if I execute previous nodes, as you can see, file IDs over here, and you need to just drag this right over into here. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it. But essentially, then this will go and download the file with that file ID. How you can go get this module over here is you go to Google Drive again, and you can go get a download file. Where is it gone? Download a file, perfect, right here, and you can essentially add this to your workflow. So now that we've downloaded the file, the next thing is we need to identify what type of file this is. It could be a CSV, an XLS, an XLSX. These are all different types of files that you can upload because they're all structured data. Like I said, they're stored in a table. And we can need to identify which type of file it is, so then we can extract the data from those files. And that's where this switch module comes in really handy. If you're familiar with make.com, it's similar to a router, but in n8n it's called switch. And essentially, it's a bunch of rules and logic to make sure that automation goes through a certain pathway. So we've got the JSON.file type, which is the actual file type of the automation. So if I click execute the previous nodes, let's see if this node's up. We need the schema. So you can see file type over here from Google Drive. If this file type is equal to text/CSV, then it will go through the text/CSV way. If the file type is application, this one essentially will go through the XLS way, and then the XLSX way is this way. And as you can see, the file we have currently, which is this one, which is under file to add, is XLSX. And as you can see, this one is exactly the same. The file ID, because that's what we're currently using, is exactly the same as the file ID over here. So these two would match and it would go through the SLSX output method. What these are MIME types, and what a MIME type does is it helps you identify what type of file you're currently using, right? So we have a bunch of different MIME types, and there's a lovely document page that has all the MIME types you can find. I've logged it right here, so if I go and open this, as you can see, here is every single type of MIME type for every single type of file. So for example, if I just type in CSV, as you can see, here's the CSV MIME type text/CSV. And you can get any type of MIME type you want. And this is how you can split out different automations using the switch module. In n8n, you can just identify the MIME types of that different type of file, and you can switch out different types of files within n8n. Like I mentioned, CSV files will go up here, XLS files will go down through the middle, and then XLSX files will go down through the bottom. And all of this gets extracted. These modules are set up pretty much as the input binary field as data, and let's just extract from CSV. Make sure you set this correctly. And then this will just go and extract all the data from these files. So if I go and execute previous node, I can kind of show you how this would look, or maybe if I run the automation, I can show you how it looks. So I know our file is an XLS file, so let's delete this and test workflow. It will go and show you exactly what the output looks like. So over here, it essentially found the file we had, it set the file ID from the Google Drive. File ID is set as this, and file type, which is the MIME type, is set as this variable over here. Then we go and download the file based on the file ID, which it grabbed from this module over here. And then we go to the switch module, and as you can see, it went through the bottom one over here, which is the SLSX version. This is because we have it all set up over here, and it would obviously run through the pathway. These two will be blank, but it'll obviously run through the pathway here because the MIME type would match this bottom section over here. So now that that's matched, this will go and extract every single row from the Excel file. So if I show you what this looks like, as you can see, we have the file, and then we have the JSON, which will be a much nicer way to look at this, as the product code, net price, and document name of every single row within this file. So each one of these rows has now been converted into JSON, and we can see it all clearly because it's extracted all this data out of the Excel file. You can add these three modules into your workflow super easy. You just click the plus icon in the top right of n8n, and then you pick extract, and then extract from file. And you can pick any of the different types you want, add these all into your workflow exactly as I have done here. And they're all set up exactly the same. So extract CSV as the input is the binary field as data. As you can see, the input binary field here is also data, and here it's also data as well. So now that we've gone and extracted all the information from our different Excel files over here, we need to go and insert them into our Supabase, which is currently looking very empty. This table is super blank. So essentially you need to get this insert into Supabase module in n8n. How you can do that is click the plus icon over here and type in Supabase, and go over to the Supabase vector store section, not this top Supabase section, the Supabase vector store section, and essentially click on the add documents into your vector store. And once you've done that, you need to use the same account we connected previously in this video. Just click on that and connect into it. Operation mode, we of course want insert documents. The table name, you need to make sure you select documents over here. And under options, put query name as match underscore documents. And once you're done with this, you also need to add in an embeddings and also a data loader. So over here, we have the embedding section over here. Again, just pick exactly the same embeddings I told you before, text embedding 3 small. Make sure this embeddings is exactly as the same embeddings you put in the right side automation. This one should also be text embeddings 3 small, and this one is also the same. How you can set up this default data loader is you need to run the automation. It might not work the first time you set it up, so you just need to run all the previous modules, and there should be an execute previous nodes module right over here. Just click select and run it, right? And for you, all of this stuff will be blank. There shouldn't be anything set up. Over here, you want type of data to be JSON, and you want the mode to be load specific data, right? And then under the data section over here, you essentially need to add some context so the model knows exactly what to look for. So I've put the net price for product code, and then I put a variable for product code is, and then the actual product price. And then let me open this up a bit bigger so it's easier to see. So the net price for the product code is the actual product code, and then the price is also the net price. The file it can be found in is called, and then the document file, essentially. And this is all set up using some JSON variables. Now, the annoying thing is you can't add, like, you know how I used to drag and drop things into the different folders? Unfortunately, into the different variables over here. You can't do that with this module over here, which is super annoying, right? So there's a little trick that I learned on how to do this. So if you go over here to this insert into Supabase module, you should see all the different product codes and document names. And over here, you can grab different variables, right? And essentially, if I just drop product code over here, you see all this JSON. You can just go copy this over and then essentially paste it into a text sheet. So let me go and do that. So here, for example, we've got the product code. If I just pull it over into here, I go and grab this, I copy it, and then I can paste it into here, right? And I can go and do this again for net price. Let me delete product code, add in net price. I can go and copy this over, and then I can go and paste this over here. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a document with all the different variables that we need from the previous node over here. So if I just close this one over, if I go here, you can see these are all the different variables that we need, but we don't need it in this module. We need it in this next one, the default data loader too, to set our data section up. So now I know this one's related to the product code, this one's related to the net price, this one's related to the document name, and this one's related to the set file ID node. So the set file ID variable. So I can put over here metadata file ID, and then I put the variable in there. And then the data, you can store this however you want. For me, telling it the product code, the price, and then what sheet is it in solves my purpose. So that's why it's sorted like this. Whatever solves your purpose, you need to put it in like that. And you can grab all the variables with this little trick I showed you over there. So you don't need to know how to use JavaScript to go and grab all these variables. Okay, so the default data loader should be set up now. And lastly, we need to go to the character text splitter. And if I click on this, I've just got a normal character text splitter and then a chunk size as 100 and chunk overlap as 0. You don't really need to worry too much about this. I can show you exactly how to set it up. So we just go to character text splitter, 100 and 1000 and then 0, and that is all set up, right? And it looks exactly like this one, perfect. So as you can see, this is everything all set up for uploading documents into your Supabase file. Okay, so now uploading your structured data to the Supabase table automation section is all done. But since I've ran this automation to go and get these variables over here, you might already have data in your table that might not be relevant because you didn't have a default data loader set up. So what you need to do over here is you need to go to Supabase and you need to click on table editor, and then you need to click on documents. And over here, you can see I already have data loaded up in my table that I might not be super happy with because I didn't set up the default data loader properly because we were just running the execution to get the variables. So you want to click on this little button in the top left of the table, and then we want to click delete 26 rows. I've got 26, you might have 50 or 100 or 10. So you just need to make sure you delete everything, and then you just click delete 26 rows, and you click delete over here. And then your table should be empty. Just make sure you click refresh and ensure that there is absolutely nothing in your table. So now when we go back here, you can have this file in your Google Drive, files to add, and you can switch this around to whatever file you'd like to upload just to test out this automation. So I've got this SLSX file. So let's go over here and let's click test workflow. So let me zoom in. I'm going to click test workflow over here, and then it's going to go through. Obviously I went through the right switch node, and then it's going to go and upload all the different data into here. So I'm just going to wait for this to get done, and it's going to go and embed and vectorize all our different rows into Supabase. So our automation is done, and it didn't take that long, about 20 seconds. And now if I hop back into Supabase and it's all here, I didn't even have to click refresh. And as you can see, all our content is stored neatly over here, literally as the net price for the product code is this, is 283, the file it can be found in is whatever, file 1, right? And as you can see, all the metadata has been added, and then also our vectorization data has also all been added in. So now when let's give it a run, right? So let's go back to our test file over here, and let's pick out this random number over here, right? So we got product code 760338227773, and the price is 37 for this product, essentially. All right. And let's flick back over here and then click on open chat. And this was from our previous chat, so let's click reset the chat. And then let's paste this in and then tell me the price for product code. And then let's have a look at what it does. So as you can see, it's going to go through our vector store, have a search, and we can see it's 37 over here. And if I flick back to here, as you can see, the price is 37. So that's how you create a RAG retrieval automation using Supabase in n8n. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, it helps out a ton if you could interact with it, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.